What's the first?
Yeah, 108, page 108.
I'm not on 108, but tell me the.
Mikomokem.
It's into verse 108. It's like
Let me. It's not going to be so simple. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Here. So in the Tanya that we learned last week, the Alter Rebbe introduced two Eifanim of Tzimtzum in the light of Hashem. Two Eifanim of Tzimtzum. One is...
You're hot or cold? If you're cold, sit next to the fire.
Make a machabracha. Baruch. So... So the Alter Rebbe explained that there are two inyonim in Tzimtzum. One is a smaller window. You have a bigger opening, a smaller opening. The second is concealment. How concealed is the light? That's a separate inyan. Just to explain for a moment, with like this idea of a mashal. In Olam Hazeh, when something is blocked by something else, let's say, the sun is blocked from coming into the rooms. We have curtains, and we block the sun. So when the sun is blocked, it doesn't enter. Obviously, so it's not there. In Elikus, we can't say it's not there. It's always there. So what happens? There are two ways that Elikus could be somewhere. There's one way to be there that it's revealed, that everyone that's there experiences it. And the second way, he's there, but we can't experience him. That's why the Alter Rebbe brought the pasuk that the Eibusher is called Kel Mistater, a hiding God. That he's there, but we can't experience him. It's hidden from our view. So that Alter Rebbe explained last week. He presented these two ideas, and he explained that when a person speaks Torah or does a mitzvah without any inspiration, so even though the words are Torah, and Torah is Elikus, so why shouldn't it be connected with Hashem? I mean, it doesn't matter if you were inspired or not inspired. What happens in your heart doesn't matter. What is it that you're learning? You're learning Torah. But says the Alter Rebbe, yes, it's true that you're learning Torah. And legabe, the Torah aspect, Hashem is not hidden. Even someone who learns Torah in order to learn how to be a better thief, it's still Torah. It doesn't matter how corrupt your ideas are. Torah is Torah. So from that aspect, there's no concealment. There's no distortion. It's Torah. But from the question of revelation, there's no revelation of godliness. Why? Because the words are Gashmiim, and the sound is Gashmi. So therefore, it's not, the godliness is not revealed. I want to express this also in another way, which is going to be Negeya later on in the Perek. Let's say a person learns an idea, they think about it, they meditate, and then they experience an emotion. So the emotion is a yerida. The emotion is not intelligence. Intelligence, the way Chassidus, the way Rabbi Yoel would explain it, seichel, what is the focus of intelligence? The focus of intelligence, objectivity, is to find the truth. It doesn't matter if it's convenient or not. Maybe the truth is inconvenient, but our journey is to find the truth. That's what seichel is. What is an emotion?
Facts don't have feelings.
Right. An emotion is a reaction. It's personal connection. So when something we learn enters our heart, it changed. It went from an objective idea to something that affects me, to something that changed me. Now, imagine someone who learned something, and then they wrote it down. So, the Rebbe Rashab, we have a story. He went to a garden, he went on the Kaiser's chair, he sat and he wrote on the stationery part of a mimer. So in his mind, he had a mimer. And then he used his fingers to write it out. What connection do fingers have to intelligence? Nothing. But when it's on the paper, what's on the paper is actually the seichel itself. In other words, in the heart may be a downgrade, but it's still in the same field. It's still spiritual. The idea is spiritual and the emotion is spiritual. The written paper is not spiritual. It's a physical thing on a piece of paper. But what does it carry? It carries the objective truth of it carries the actual idea. Someone else could actually learn the idea itself. When we do a mitzvah, the mitzvah itself is like the writing on the page. It's so far from the will of Hashem, but it actually conveys the will of Hashem, but that's actually the will of Hashem. When we have an emotional connection, when we have Ava and Yira, then we're in the same realm. We're in a spiritual realm. We're in the realm of will and thought and feeling. We're in a spiritual place. So, on one hand, a physical mitzvah is very special because it contains the original idea. But on the other hand, how could you compare a finger writing to an intellectual activity? You're learning that, and an emotion is more closely connected to a thought than a. So these are the different elements when we talk about a person who does a mitzvah with emotion. So the revealed part of Hashem is there. When we do a mitzvah without anything, then it's like the hands writing the words. It contains the will, but it's not revealed. It's hidden. Another aspect to, Torah is, to say like this, we always say in Hasidus that a will is, imagine somebody wants a house. They imagine, not only do they want a house, they have in their mind, they have details of what how many bedrooms and the size rooms and the height of the ceilings, and I don't know, you could tell me better. I'm not so people, but but having a house is it's very tied in. Chassidus, there's a Gemara. The Gemara says whoever doesn't have a house is not a person. The idea is that having a house, the will to have a house, is innate. It's in our DNA. It's not. We don't have to manufacture it. We have to reveal it, maybe, but it's there. So, but the house isn't the will. Like in the will, there's no bricks. We're fulfilling the desire, right? It's not. However, with Torah itself actually. When we learn Torah, that's actually Torah. That's what we're learning, that's actually Hashem's will. It's not like the bricks and the mortar. So when we do a mitzvah, it's not the same like learning Torah. Doing the mitzvah is fulfilling the will. But the mitzvah, the lulav, the esrig, it's not like the will, the spiritual will. The will was that we should. Like with the house. But in Torah, that's the way, that's Hashem's thought. this idea that I'm internalizing and I recognize as, oh, this is the approach, that's Hashem, that's actually Hashem's approach. So it's different. So that's another aspect of a different dimension between Torah and mitzvahs. I'm going to say, any questions? Everyone sits with such Kabbalah soul. Okay, now we get to the more boring part, so let's read a little bit inside. Okay. Mikom, okay. Rabbi said, make a bracha that honor the host. Mikom, okay. You won't fall asleep, we'll wake you up if you... It takes some time from when you eat until you get tired. I'll tell you from when the Reb Nissen...
What's in that one?
But this is a plant.
Oh, okay.
Here are some olives and...
Oh, that looks good. Olives look good.
When Reb Nissen Nemanov came to New York from France, when he came for Yud Shvat, so he knew the Rebbe Fabrengs for a long time, so he wanted to make sure that he won't have to go out to the bathroom in the middle of the Fabrengen while the Rebbe is speaking. So one of the boys, actually Mendy Hayward told me that he was learning in Burma, he was there, and he saw Reb Nissen was sitting one day with a little notebook. A little notebook.
Okay.
He had a little notepad. He said, Reb Nissen, what's the notepad? He said, I drank water and I'm counting the minutes, how long it takes. And now I'm going to know when he goes to Fabrengen that he's going to make sure that he's not going to drink water for long enough that he shouldn't have to go out in the middle. Okay, so I know from my Shabbos meal that it takes about 40 minutes till you fall asleep. By that time, I'll dismiss you. Okay? You don't fall asleep during the fish. Right? Usually it's...
In the soup.
Oh. So let's take a look. Mikol Makan. Even though the person is learning Torah and he's saying words of davening, and these are words of from Hashem, but ha'ora shebohen mikdushasa yizbarich, the revealed holiness of Hashem in those words, he bebchinas tzimtzum, is extremely contracted ad ketzei ha'achrein, in the most extreme way. Me'achar, why is that? Shehakoil v'hadibur hu gashmi, because your voice, the words, they're physical. Avol bitfila bekavana, but when a person davens with heart, when a person is inspired with love for Hashem, and with the awe, v'toira bekavana lishma, a person who learns Torah for the sake of connecting to Hashem with the Torah. So now that it has emotion, that intention becomes the chayas of the words. They're the root. They cause you to learn. I want to point out, you go back 2 lines. He said tefillah bekavana, and then he said Torah bekavana lishma. What's the difference? Because tefillah, the whole purpose of davening is to connect to Hashem. So, right, it's lishma. Like, they say somebody asked to believe Yitzchak by Ditchever, says that we're supposed to do l'shem shamayim. We're not supposed to do. He says, but Hashem created the world because He had He wanted to have nisava dira b'tachtoinim. He had an agenda. So we can learn from Him to have an agenda. So Rabbi Levi Yitzchak said, yeah, but it's l'shem shamayim. Yeah, you with me? Hashem's ulterior motive is for Him, so it's l'shem shamayim.
I have just one question from another mimer we're learning.
Yeah.
We talked about Oisius. There was a mimer in the blue, the Noach.
Teva. Asa.
Rabbi Akiva. So the question is, it said there's Oisius and everything. The one thing it didn't mention is Midas. Are there Oisius and Midas?
There must be Oisius and Midas because Midas are a tziyur. There's very much of a tziyur. But on the other hand, we have to think about it. I don't know.
Okay, that's a tzarachiyah.
No, I say, just to point out, Rabbi Yoel, with one of his mishalim, I repeat in his name, that he said, you could ask a person in what language he thinks. but you can't ask them in what language they love. Right? So there's something
I found French works pretty good, but anyway.
Okay, lachain. So, but Torah has another aspect. So Torah lishma, kavana lishma, that I want to connect to Hashem through the Torah. Lachain, therefore, because the intention inspires the learning, he maila oisan, it elevates the words ad mekoima, the yud sfiris, the Yetzirah or the Bria. It elevates either to Yetzirah or Bria, lefi ma shehi akavana, depending on what your intention was. Here too, we have to separate something for a minute. When a person learns Torah, there's the person's service, and then there are the words of Torah. It's two separate things. The Alter Rebbe said earlier in Perek Lamed Ches that a person always remains in the periphery. We've been saying for a long time that all emotion is about metzius. It's all about you. It's you-centered. I love, I'm in awe, I'm in fear. It's all about the person's feeling. So, as great as your love for Hashem is, it still centers back to you. Right? In this cheap way of saying it, that's like, oh, if you love the fish, you'd put it in a fish tank. You wouldn't eat it for dinner. You know, like, who do you love? You love you or you love, right? Yeah, so at the end of the day, even the greatest tzaddik, if his motivation is love, so then it's centered, it comes back to him. So the avodah of the person can never become completely one with Elikus. But he said before that it becomes miyuchad with the 10 spheres. The mitzvah, the Torah could become one. But your experience, your feeling, that's you. So it's two separate things. Here what he's speaking about, Mekaima, the place of what? The place of your inspiration. Your inspiration gives wings to the mitzvah, and it goes up to Bria or Yetzirah, depending on the Sham, in that Olam, in Olam HaBria, in Olam HaYetzirah, because it's a ruchniyazdika world. It's a world of emotion. Meir umizgale Erein Sof Baruch Hu. Hashem is revealed in that world. Shehu Ratzon Ha'elyon Baruch Hu. Hamelubish be'eisiyas ha'teira shaleimed uvekavanoson. Hashem's will is we experience it. It's open to the people who are thinking and feeling. Ebitfila uvekavanosa, ebimitzvah uvekavanosa. And in those ilamis, it's be'ara gedola le'ein kates, in a fantastically revealed way. Mashala yochel ahoir uliizgalas klal v'ayda eisiyas v'amitzvah be'elam haza agashmi loy mina v'loy miktsasa. That's impossible to be experienced in this world. One of the most famous topics in Chabad Hasidus is the machlokes between the Rambam and the Ramban about Olam Haba. What is Olam Haba? The Rambam says that Olam Haba is Gan Eden. It's a world of the souls. The Ramban says that Olam Haba is the world of the bodies, souls and bodies together. In other words, according to Rambam, the resurrection of the dead will happen. There will be Tchias HaMesim. But that's going to be for a short amount of time, whatever it's going to be. And after that, it must be that everyone goes back to just being a neshama. That's the Rambam's opinion. One of the ideas of the Rambam is that if we have a body, we're so limited in the joy we could experience. Because the body, it shapes every thought. Every imagination is just shaped by Gashmias. And that's where the Rambam says that just like a blind man can experience color, and a deaf man the tones of a voice. You have no hasaga. It says that's true olam haba. We can never truly understand. It's so beautiful. It's so, He uses the expression sichlim nivdolim. A seichel without a body is free to understand things that are way beyond what we could experience.
So even in learning,
In pure intellect, pure logic, whatever that means. The Ramban, he argues, the Ramban says, but one second, the mitzvahs were given to a neshama in a guf. The reward must be given to a neshama in a guf. You can separate them for reward. Olam haba has to be neshamas begufin. You're going to tell me that the body is limited? Hashem will expand the capacity. When Mashiach comes, he'll expand the capacity. And in Chassidus it says, and we agree with the Ramban. We take, right? We're machriya. That the in the way it could be in a spiritual way, in Olam Abriya, in Olam Yitzira. It can't. It's a physical world. Ades Ketzayom until Mashiach comes. Sheyis'al ha'olam migashmi. You say that the Gashmius will be refined. V'niglach ve'ed Hashem kenal ba'aruchas, like he said in Lamed Zayin, that the flesh will be able to see godliness. Now here we have this Hagor. I think we learned it last time. But this is a long Hagor. Let's go through it quickly. Visham.
הבאת משהו? לא, ככה שלי, ככה שנייה, לא צריך.
There's a fire right where you're sitting. If you're cold, like bring my...
Visham. Visham in Olam Abriya, in Olam Yitzira, Meir. The Hagor. No, it's in the gray boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, Visham. You see? Meir u'mizgala gamkein in Olam Abriya. It's also revealed Hayichud ha'elyon hanasa b'kol mitzvah v'talmud Torah. There's a yichud. There's a union of chesed and gvura that happens when we go up to Olam Yisrael. Last week I said it in one way. This week I'll say it in a different way. Last week I spoke about it from the idea of Eis Ratzon. Eis Ratzon means there's a special time. When you do a mitzvah, you create a special time. A special time means that there's going to be more hashpah, more graciousness. Here, I'll say something, I'll present it in a different way for a minute. Basically, kindness, infinite kindness, is chesed. True chesed, the way it is from Ratzon, the Ratzon of Hashem, higher than Atzilus. The problem is that we are not able to receive infinite kindness. If it's infinite, we're going to get washed away. It's a tsunami. In order for us to absorb it, it has to be limited. So now, Gevura, restraint on its own, what do we get? Nothing. Because no one's deserving enough. There's always a reason, there's always an excuse, not to give. So the yichud of chesed and gvura means, I want to give you endless bounty. I'm going to incorporate gevura so that I could understand what limitations you need in order to receive it. I'm not.
What? Because Spheres Akalim, basically? It's sort of,
because you have.
Otherwise,
you're flooded. Yeah. So that's the union of chesed and gevura. That gevura is there only to help you. Only to help you receive it. Look, in the business world, whenever you have people who work under you, so you end up with something frustrated. You talk to people about modifying something they do, and they don't listen. You ask them to do something differently. Lo nitkavel. You try again. So you have to introduce gevura to limit your request is like the revelation of your Ratzon. I want it like this, I want it like that. When you're talking to them, you're being mashpia. But you're not thinking, what's getting in the way for them? Usually when people don't do something, it's not because they don't want to, they're not looking to argue with you, but there's something difficult, something they don't understand. So the purpose of the Gvura is only to help the Chesed. I'm going to limit what I want to say to you. Why? Because I want it to be effective. So I'm going to think first. Time with effective. They work hard. But then suddenly there's something you ask them, there's a block. So either you could just blow them away, hire someone else, or you could work with them. That's the Gvura part. Let's be Visham in Bria and Yitzira Meir Umizgala Gamkin Ayichud Elyon Anasa B'chol Mitzvah V'Talmud Torah. What is the Yichud? Shu Yichud Midos of Yisbarich. Hashem's Midos joined together. V'nim Tokes HaGvuris B'Chasadim. The Gvura becomes sweetened. Last week I also said that whenever you serve Hashem, there's Gevura involved. You have to push yourself. To push yourself, the grit is pain. The reward makes it worth it. So, but you have to experience the reward. What's the reward? The hashpah. That Hashem comes into your life. That's the reward. That's when it becomes worth it. Someone who's trying to daven, and we could get carried away a lot. There are people who try. They try to daven, and they don't feel. They go to shul, they try to meditate, they dedicate time, they sit 2 hours, 3 hours. They don't feel, nothing is happening. And this is a very widespread phenomenon for people who try. So I remember talking to somebody once, he's like, I'm not leaving till I have a response. I'll stay here 8 hours. So what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to sing the Gunim, I'm going to learn another mimer, I'll change my place. I'll think about maybe another part of davening. They're just looking for a way to get that there should be a response, an emotional response. Right? So that's the reward. In other words, just because you work, that doesn't mean Hashem that you're going to experience Hashem. Experiencing Hashem, experiencing the return, that's the reward that makes the Gvura worth it. Now the effort is chesed. Hashem becomes revealed to us when we put in the koiches. What is putting in the effort? Asiyas hamitzvah, esek hatayra. Shebehem alu b'shratzon el yenein tzei baruch hu. That's where Hashem is. However, ikar hayichud, when we do a mitzvah, the main union is an atzilus, beyond what we could experience. Again, this is not what we feel. What happens in the celestial spheres. There, there's the true unity with God.
Who's the mitzvah supposed to be for? Like, why would you want to experience it? Like, what's the purpose of a mitzvah? Is it?
Of course, the purpose of the mitzvah, in other words, Hashem commanded us,
Right.
and we do the mitzvah.
Right.
The ultimate achievement, the Toisves Oiris, is an Atzilus. Meaning,
The real purpose of a mitzvah is lishma.
like
I mean, you're not supposed to get excited.
Right.
Meaning, you're not supposed to get a pat on your back. Or,
no, not a pat on the back, but a sense of dveikus, a sense of connection. Just a sense of connection. He says the true.
But what's that connection? That's you deciding that you got like.
No, not you. It's real.
I understand, but like what? I understand, but how does that internalize into you deciding that you did a mitzvah and therefore you're now closer to that?
No,
it's like
that your heart is awake.
That's very good.
The fact that you did the mitzvah, and the fact that you
The fact that you were mizbainen, and you have a kavanah, and you're feeling.
I know, but you're not calculating or generating
let me say this.
Achievement-
Let me say this like this.
So therefore,
Imagine somebody says, from now on, I will not.
I'm not a big meat eater.
He says, from now.
The meat, sure, beef.
ribs.
He says, from now
I don't
on,
want to try it.
I will not do anything that I don't mean, that I don't feel. Imagine someone says that, right? So now, when you see them doing something, you know that they're inspired. So what the Alter Rebbe is saying here is, one second, is that a person, we're talking about a person who performs a mitzvah. Why? Because he's yearning true Ava V'yira. True Ava V'yira means, like the Alter Rebbe is going to explain, where we're going now. Mitzvahs, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that mitzvahs are the body of the bird, and then the wings are Ava and Yira. So, one second, but Ava and Yira too are mitzvahs. Why are they not the body of the bird? There's no.
I mean, it's to each mitzvah, the Avanir. The Avanir on its
No,
own is a mitzvah.
but that's not. No, he says Ava
each
V'yira.
mitzvah. It's an
It's a
addition
mitzvah.
to each.
It's one of the tough. It's one of the
Yeah.
Tayag mitzvahs.
Right, but the Avanir that you apply to
Yeah,
each-
sheish mitzvahs.
But
It's not a guf ha-mitzvah. There's no guf. Why?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Depending on the mitzvah.
No,
You can have a mitzvah
even-
just Ava Hashem.
No, you can't.
Right? You
It's
can
for-
have a-
it's
No.
for the mitzvahs.
Why?
It's for
Because the mitzvah of Ava is to love him through
Go, the mitzvahs.
mitzvahs. That my love causes me to do something to connect with him. So if the love is missing, that if it doesn't drive me to do it, then the love is missing. There's something wrong in the programming. That's what the Alter Rebbe is going to explain in the next Haggadah, in the next piece. Ave it's for Mishoris. So, and that's what he said before. Ma chamoson, ubesiboson. They are causing you to do the mitzvah. Let's read the Haggadah. Let's finish the Haggadah. V'ha'arason levad hi me'ira b'biyah v'chol oila mehen lefi ma'alosoi. In every world, there's only a ha'ara of the light of Hashem. Ve'av. Now he asks a question. We're still in the bracket. It's a very long in the gray. Ve'av shenefesh ha'adam ha'esek b'teiro mitzvah zu. Eina me'atzilis. How could you cause a union in Atzilus? You're not in Atzilus. Yeah, remember when I say this? If you're doing exercise, you have to breathe to live, and then you have to take a deeper breath to exercise.
Oxygenate.
Right? Hashem created the world. He took a shallow breath, just that the world should be. When you do a mitzvah, he takes a deeper breath. It's richer. There's added light, added energy. How could we impact Atzilus? Because that mitzvah is Hashem's will. Like what I was saying before, that the words that you write on the page, yes, it went through your fingers, but the words on the page, that's the original seichel. Who atzmei advar alocha? That's this mitzvah. These words of Torah. HaTorah sheisavo hu elikus ve'eres of Hamatzal Baruch Hu shu ritzayne echad. Ubertzayne yizbarech Hashem's will. Hetzil midaysav ham yuchadis bei yizbarech. He how would I say it? He took on a shape of like a human being, character that Hashem has, midas. When he talks I just want to mention for a minute, the Alter Rebbe writes, it's a Machzedek writes in Derech Mitzvah, an interesting thing. I'm sure it's in many other places in Chassidus. He says, when he speaks about Avos Yisrael, he says that, let's say you have a friend. So you're friends. You know what they call, the teenagers call a bestie. You have a good friend. What do you do with the friend? You go shopping, you schmooze, you go have coffee, you do all kinds of things. What's the foundation? That's my friend. Now with my friend, I do different things. When a person loves Hashem, so the love for Hashem, that's the connection. Then every individual mitzvah is like another activity that you do together. Oh, let's go get ice cream. That's one mitzvah. Let's go to the mall. These are different.
From Maine, it's called let's work on cars.
Okay. This is a different way how we're going to express. But the bonding agent is the Ava. So when we do a mitzvah, it goes back to the Rotzein of Hashem. And the Rotzein of Hashem, that is what catapults, what moves all the Olamis. Atzilus also is all driven by the Rotzein of Hashem. Let's go back to the Pnim.
And what is that technically?
For you, it's that you're just continuing in the Tanya.
Is that how you say? Let's say Matan Torah. That's when that relationship was established, and then afterwards, all of these things come afterwards.
Oh.
So therefore, Torah is the cause of the relationship.
Really, it's Kadma La'olam, right?
Right,
Because Avram Avinu was Mekayim all the mitzvahs, and
yeah, but they didn't interpret for that purpose. The love, the fact of the matter is, until Matan Torah, there was relationship wasn't there.
You're saying but Avram had the Ava, Avram Oyavi,
right?
Yeah.
But,
so and that Ava.
So then, why didn't the mitzvahs interpret?
I'm saying that's why Avram had the Ava.
Yeah, but
he was able to do the different mitzvahs.
Yeah, but they weren't.
They didn't connect with the Gashmias.
Okay, so
yeah,
exactly. So they didn't.
So
Matan Torah didn't do the purpose of the relationship.
Yeah, you're speaking about the Dira B'Tachtonim aspect. In other words,
I'm speaking about the mashal you just gave about the relationship of how it solidifies through an action. It can't solidify if the relationship is not there on a real basis, even though theoretically it's there. It wasn't there until Matan Torah. There was no relationship. There was no kedusha. Whatever you want to.
Okay, it's an interesting thing, Taka, that from the Tzemach Tzedek, like in the Avas Yisrael mitzvah. Yeah. When he speaks about this idea, he's really speaking before Matan Torah. You know what I mean? Like,
because I'm
just saying. He speaks about Yaakov, Knesset Yisrael. In other words, his position is not the Dira B'Tachtonim position.
Yisrael is
right. I don't want to go flying on a tangent. Basically, the idea is we argue on the ground level. But when we go up a little bit, we become one. In other words, when you zoom out, then we're able to see.
Because there's no eye.
In other words, it's like the children. When you sit around the table with your kids, every kid is different. But when you're at the table, they're your kids.
Look at Israel,
So you're when you go up one generation, you're the unifying force. Hopefully, right? So the higher you go, the more united. So from the Avas Yisrael perspective, Dira B'Tachtonim is on the ground level. The unity.
Which is more like less than Avas Yisrael.
In other words, it's much harder.
Yeah, but because
our avoida is
again, but everything
to not allow fragmentation. To
right, but before Matan Torah,
to break apart. We should stay.
But Matan Torah is speaking about the relationship with the Eibishter and the Yidden, not about Yidden between Yidden.
Yes. Yeah.
So therefore, it wasn't limited by that.
Okay, good. Let's hold it. Let's Ubazeh Yuvan. You see where we are? Ubazeh Yuvan Hativ. Now he says we'll understand very well why did Chilu Urchim and the Krem Gadfin. Why love and awe of Hashem are called wings, only wings. Derech Mashal. Kidichsiv ubishtayim ye'oifeif. Like the Rachav Zal writes, Shara Yechudim, Shaknafayim be'oif, and there are more parallels in the Shalah and other Svarim. That because the wings of a bird, hein zroyos ha'adam. There's a Gemara. Our arms and the bird's wings have a connection. But Tikkunim Pirush, it explains in Tikkunei Zayar, Sha'iskim b'teira, en lecha, yad Ron Avatan, Sha'iskim b'teira mitzvahs b'chilu urchimu, those people who do mitzvahs with love and fear, those people who do mitzvahs with love and awe, I'll find it for you. Those people who do mitzvahs, they're called banim. They're called children. The people who do mitzvahs without love and fear, they're called efroichim. They're called, here, right before the gray box. They're called chicks before, yeah, I know that, no, right when they can't fly, right after. We're on video, so later we have to take it down. The famous story that somebody went to, someone broke into upstairs in 770 the Frierdiker Rebbe's apartment to take something. To take whatever, a ksav, a maimer, whatever it was. The Rebbe was very upset. The Rebbe spoke about it by Farbrengen. And that, yeah, this is many years ago. Not the Sfarim Heitevis. I'm talking about in the 60s. Yeah, in the 60s.
It wasn't Lieberman and it wasn't Garage.
So the Rebbe said, the Rebbe was speaking to the guy who did it, who was the Bocher. He was sitting at the Farbrengen. And the Rebbe said, your grandfather, and he named him. Wow. When he got involved in such things, he was a yeah, but you, the Rebbe said, you're an afroyach shalei niftechu einecha. Yeah, chick that whose eyes didn't open yet. Yeah, that was the expression that the Rebbe said at the Farbrengen.
Nice. Still a chick.
Oh, no, obviously he's going to grow.
I think it's, you say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's just
So now the Rebbe says, when a person does a mitzvah with Av and Yireh Bonim, that's a child. When a person does a mitzvah without, that's called Efroichim. Why Efroich? It can't have an aliyah. Look, the Alter Rebbe is pushing this agenda that Av and Yireh are not the mitzvah itself. The wings are not the main. They're not a vital organ. Klal. The Mishnah says, a bird without wings is kosher. A Mishnah chulin. It's actually a hybrid. There's no Mishnah with these words. It's a blend of the Rambam and the main thing is the head and the body. They serve behind to fly. Kach derech moshel, so too. We'll get back to the ha'ara. Kach derech moshel, he says, so too, ha'teiro mitzvahs, hein iker ha'ichud ha'elyon. The main thing is the mitzvah. When you do it, you're revealing Hashem's will. This is what Hashem wants. This is the exhibit. Here's an exhibit. We're wearing tzitzis. We're putting on tefillin. They're only to bring it to a place where Elikus is revealed, that the Ein Sof Baruch Hu is revealed. Those are in the spiritual worlds. Let's continue. Even though, what do you mean? Av and Yireh are from the 630 mitzvahs. Avram mentioned, we don't talk about this a lot in the Chabad Meistis, in Chabad Yeshivas, we don't talk to kids about it that much. There are 6 mitzvahs, I spoke about it in Shul in the past, there are 6 constant mitzvahs. There are 6 mitzvahs you mechuyev around the clock. 5 of them are mitzvahs aseh, 1 mitzvahs leis aseh. Right, so in these mitzvahs avas Hashem, to believe in Hashem, to love, it's around the clock. Wait, not to take Avodah Zarah is also. Afal pikein, leisasuru is number 6. Afal pikein the kroim gatfin. Even though Ava and Yireh are from the Tayag mitzvahs, they're called wings. They're never part of the mitzvah itself. Lihiyos. Why? Kitachlis o Ava hiu aveda me'ava. Love, there's no Indian just to love. You have to do. It has to lead to something. The Ava, B'li Avodah, Ava, without, that a person should experience Ava, just Ava without Avodah, that's like in Gan Eden. Only tzaddikim who receive a gift from Hashem, that's Me'ein Olam Haba, they have such an experience. But that's not, and that's not Avodah. It's like experiencing Gan Eden. He ava b'tanugim lisanig al Hashem hayoyin olam haba, and that's Kabbalah schar. It's a reward. V'hayayim la'aseisam ksiv. This world is a world of action, not a world of reward. Ulamachar lekabel scharam. Gan Eden is the place for the reward. Chasidim used to say that when someone, I'm saying, in the yesteryear,
70s.
yesteryear, 1700s, that if a person wakes up Shabbos morning and they learn Chassidus for hours, and then they daven, and then when they're walking home 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they experience a little
Epiphany.
of Ava B'Tanugim. Just a little. What's Ava B'Tanugim? Huh?
But again, the little bit of Ava B'Tanugim is not that they should say, "Oh, I enjoyed Ava B'Tanugim." It's to validate everything that was there before. Because everything that they did up until then, they don't know if they broke through, if they got, like you said before, you can work for 18 hours, you can work for 20 hours.
Right.
You come out and nothing. It doesn't mean you did the right avodah. Just because you stood in front of a wall and you banged your head, it doesn't mean you did what the Eibishter wanted or how the Eibishter wanted.
Yeah, but
When you
here
get validated, even though it's a tip, I'm on the right
so
track.
I want to just bring out a certain point. Every experience of love in this world there's like a waxing and waning element, meaning from far distance causes love, right, to increase, right, fondness. So every rotzen is a she'ifa. There's a yearning, there's a striving, and then it's satisfied. In other words, a person is always in a state. It's a rotze v'shuv. A person is always in a state of missing something. Imagine someone who's so content they don't need anything. They're never in a state of
Yearning?
Yeah, they're not yearning. They're just happy. It's like a very young child is just always happy. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't have to be busy. He doesn't. Ava b'tanugim is someone who doesn't need anything. And therefore it's a constant. It's not
naive.
No. It's like over here we meet people who are Oivdei Hashem once in a while. Once in a while you meet someone who has such a calm about them that it's like scary to us. Where does someone get such stability, ruyakait? Ish atzili. Maze ish atzili.
What are you saying?
Lack of confidence is even higher.
They project complete calmness.
Maybe next to Gilad, you could put a chair and another chair next to you.
Calm, reguim, right, complete serenity. That's Ava B'Tanugim. And that's why Ava B'Tanugim is Tmidi. You understand? Because it doesn't need. It's not Rotze V'Shoiv. It is. That's the Tainug of Elam Haba. Avram, you with me?
Yeah, I saw it somewhere that the person that doesn't want anything and doesn't need anything is more or less an Olam Haba.
Right. Oh, you see? Umi Chevre. Let's finish the last few lines. It's 8:58. We're going to do it. Umi Chevre. Umi Shaloi Higia Lemida Zu. Sim Ayadayim. Mi Shaloi Higia Lemida Zu. Lite Me'ein Elam Haba. Someone who's not at that level. His Avas Hashem is a yearning, a thirst.
Roll the heater back.
Chavra, let's stay focused. Someone who's thirsty, and he doesn't learn. He says, this is comparable to me, He's standing in a river. The tzayik, he's screaming, Mayim, Mayim. Water, water. Mayim, Mayim, lishtis. I mean, just bend down and drink. The prophet laments. He cries. Hey, kol tzomei l'chula mayim. There's a taich here. Tzomei, thirsty. If we translate a person who's thirsty for water, there's something wrong in the pasuk. What he's saying is someone who's thirsty for Hashem. You're thirsty for Hashem. Drink Torah. Torah is the antidote, is the answer for your thirst. It's not if someone is thirsty to learn, so obviously pshita sheyilmid me'atzmei, he's going to learn. Why does the Navi have to scream, Hoy? Like explained elsewhere. So therefore the pshat is, his thirst, his ava, is to Hashem. And now he has to understand, when you're thirsty for Hashem, you have to sit and learn Torah. And this is something that has to click. A person has an itch. What did the Baal Shem Tov say? If you're hungry, it's really for elikus. But we have to find that, we have to discover it in ourselves, that when a person is uneasy, to go to the right place. First of all, I just want to say that we made a shir for the women tonight, and what did it do? It increased. I don't know what increased the turnout. Maybe the fleishiks, the house, the porch. I don't know.
Now the women are out.
So yashikoyach everybody, and thank you to those who joined online. Hatzlacha Rab.